Love, you know, runs uphill. It's not like water. Water, by its nature, seeks the lower level. Starts in the mountains, runs itself down in rivulets and streams, to rivers, from brooks, ponds, and from rivers to broader bodies of water, bays and estuaries, and at last into the ocean. Love is not that way. Love, in a sense, is the opposite. It starts in the great pool and reservoir that is itself our God. Love, the fountain, then pushes itself inward, a great wave moving into every conceivable nook and cranny. It moves forward, looking for whatever place is open to it, and it moves as far as it can reach. Of course, it is true that the farther love reaches, the stream of love farthest from the sea, the less like the sea that stream is. Sort of like the waters in the mountain are not salty, but the bay is. So it is today that we come to the closing of our Advent season with a striking gospel, though it may not strike us at first. Think for a moment, though, what has happened. Our Lady has received the message of an angel. This young woman has listened, she has paused, and she has said yes to an enormous risk. Indeed, I would submit that all risks ever taken by any human being have flowed into this one great decision. A risk, to be sure, to be suddenly changed, to be suddenly placed in the position of a pivot point for all of history and salvation, to be asked to do something that at the very worst could have her stoned to death, and at the very best, the very best is not visible, not known. She must take a risk that the one who is asking her is in fact reliable, and that therefore the risk that she's being asked to take is reliable. We make these kind of decisions all the time, don't we? We say to someone we love, "Will you marry me?" And if that love is evident enough, if the hope of a future together is tangible, touchable, dreamable, we take the risk and we say yes. We take our families from one place to another. We make risks in our choices based on the hope that getting them to the place to which we are going will in the end be better than the place from where we have come. And the place from whence we have come issues us forth. We only make that risk if the love we have for them prompts us to do it. Well, Our Lady, too, had to take a risk. All of the risks we've ever taken, she had to make. But her life changed. Make no mistake about it. Nazareth, at the time of Our Lady's yes, was a very small and dusty hill country town. Everyone pretty much knew everyone else. And they were pretty much the workforce, common people, laboring people, for the building of a great capital not far away, called Sepphoris. She waited there in her betrothment, brought there from another place, to marry Joseph, whom we pray and believe she loved, and he her. But the minute she made her yes, the minute she decided that her risk was worth taking, her life did change. The faces that had been friendly in that town, they weren't friendly anymore. The conversations around the well with which she could participate, the ladies gathering the water with whom she could talk and rely, this young woman about to be a bride no longer spoke to her. Joseph had accepted her, and that was a good thing, because he kept her from death, but he could not keep her from ostracization. And so there she sat, alone in a strange place, far away from home, with no help from parents or family. And Joseph, well, he could be defense, but I doubt at this point he could be much comfort. So what does she do? She rises up and remembers what the angel says, that Elizabeth, your kinswoman, thought to be barren, was now in her 6th month. Nothing is impossible with God, Mary. And she leaves. And in haste, Luke says, she goes to the one person in the one place who can understand why she took the risk. Because you see, any risk we take must be judged by what prompts it. Its reliability will be directly proportionate to the love that encourages us to take it. Our Lady, free from the results of the original shame, was able to see the love God had for her. When he asked this of her, he could see the love coming, she could see the love he was giving to her, and she could say yes. But it didn't make the risk any less dangerous. Going to Elizabeth allowed her the encouragement of another who had made a similar risk, had allowed God to come into her life, and that the child she bore would be a part of his plan too. So here is the bottom line. Any risk that we take is reliable, proportionate to the depth of the love that prompts it. And any risk we take is unreliable, proportionate to the depth of the fear that promotes it. It's an important lesson, though it may seem an obvious one. Because we are always taking risks. To be a Christian in our world today, to be a Catholic Christian, even in our home place here, is a risky thing. To look at things going on in Washington and make a stand for life because of our faith, loudly and vocally, will be risky. People may not understand, maybe even object. To be in our schools and stand out as a Christian student or teenager, that's risky business in middle school or high school or elementary school. People will treat you differently. They will not invite you to some things, and some groups will not want you to be a part of them. The risk is, and you will hear it, I'll be alone. I'll be the subject of other people's scorn or dislike. But remember what Our Lady's teaching us today. If it's fear that's telling us to do something, don't take that risk. Its promise is always unreliable. Its promise of security in the group or in the common think, wherever it is, in school or at office or at home, is always false. Only when love prompts us to make a choice, to take a risk, like Our Lady, only when that happens does the risk make any sense. Is it ever reliable? And the deeper the love, the better the risk. And so when someone's parents ask us to do something, when your parents ask it, their love is deeper than that of your friends. Trust them, take the risk, and listen to them. When your kids ask something of you, listen to the love that prompts it. When a spouse asks of you something, remember that that person has professed that love forever. It is far more likely that the risk they're asking you to take, to step out of yourself, to reveal yourself, to make time for him or her, to be a supportive partner in the journey of life, that risk is going to be far, far more reliable than fear of financial ruin if I don't work the two